What if the person everyone looked down on held the power to turn an entire room upside down? A millionaire, a homeless woman, an elite wedding filled with secrets. No one could have imagined how one stranger would bring down a powerful family and steal the spotlight on the most important night of their lives. Stay with us. You'll want to witness every twist of this story. William Lancaster leaned against the glass wall of his penthouse, the lights of the city sprawling beneath him. In his hand, a cream-colored envelope trembled slightly, though not from the cold. It was an invitation to the wedding of Olivia Harrington, his former fiancée, the woman who had left him without hesitation for a rival, seeking not love, but greater power. And now she had sent him this? Is this some kind of sick joke? William muttered. He tossed the invitation onto the sleek marble countertop, but the words printed inside had already burned into his mind. We would be delighted if you joined us in celebrating this joyful union. Joyful? William scoffed. It was a calculated move, Olivia's way of parading her new triumph in front of him. A final twist of the knife. Moments later, his longtime friend, Damon Carter, strolled in. Is that what I think it is? Damon asked, picking up the discarded envelope. William didn't respond. Damon read the invitation and let out a low whistle. She's got nerve, I'll give her that. You going? William's laugh was cold and hollow. Show up alone. Let her think she won. Not a chance. Damon smirked. Then don't go alone. Take someone who'll leave her guessing. Someone who'll make her regret ever letting you go. That idea stuck in William's mind long after Damon had left. But not just anyone would do. If he was going to step into that ballroom, it would be on his own terms, and with someone unforgettable on his arm. William's schedule was packed. Meetings, investor calls, board discussions. But through it all, his thoughts drifted back to that damn invitation. By late afternoon, walking out of his office tower, a cold wind brushed his face, sharpening his senses. His driver awaited by the curb, but William paused. Across the bustling street, something caught his eye. A young woman sat on the concrete outside a trendy cafe. Her coat was torn, her shoes threadbare. Her hair fell in messy waves around her face, but her posture was upright, her expression defiant. No begging cup, no pleading glance. Just a girl, staring at the world as if daring it to challenge her. William found himself walking toward her before his mind could catch up. He stopped a few feet away, hands in his pockets. Need money? He asked bluntly. She looked up slowly. Not with gratitude, but with a sharp smirk. What is this? A billionaire's field experiment? Depending on my answer, you'll either toss a coin or walk away. William raised an eyebrow. Not the response he had expected. I have a different offer. She tilted her head slightly, eyes narrowing. Come with me to an event. I'll pay you more than enough to start over. All you have to do is dress the part. Be my date for the night. A short laugh escaped her lips. Change my life? That's quite the pitch. Do you practice lines like that in front of your mirror? William kept his tone steady. You'll wear a designer dress. Smile. Be seen on my arm. That's it. She leaned back slightly, folding her arms. Let me guess, you need a beautiful distraction to parade in front of someone. He gave a slight nod. Something like that. For a long moment, she stared at him, sizing him up, calculating. Then, to his surprise, she stood. I'll do it, but not for the money. I'm curious. Curious about what? William asked. Her lips curled into a mischievous smile. Curious to see just how far a man like you is willing to go to win a game that doesn't matter. The two sat in silence inside William's sleek black Rolls-Royce. Isabella, for that was the name she had given him, gazed out the tinted window as the city lights flickered by. No fear, no nervous chatter, just calm observation. William broke the silence first. "You don't even want to know where we're going." "Somewhere expensive," she replied with a faint smile. "And you're not the least bit curious?" "Should I be?" she countered. "You picked me off the street and offered money to play your pretty date. Strange? Absolutely. But I doubt you're planning to sell me into some dark underworld." William chuckled despite himself. Nothing that sinister. Just a social event. "A wedding," she said flatly. He glanced at her, surprised. "How did you know?" "You've got the look," she replied simply. The look of a man out for revenge. Her insight unsettled him. She was too perceptive. "And if I am, then it doesn't matter to me, as long as you pay me and keep your promises." Minutes later, the car stopped in front of a renowned beauty salon, one reserved for the city's elite. "Come," William said. Without a word, Isabella followed. "A complete transformation," William ordered. "Hair, makeup, wardrobe, everything." The staff nodded and got to work immediately. As Isabella settled into the plush styling chair, she glanced at William through the mirror. "Change your mind yet?" "About what?" he asked. "About me. I imagine you expected someone more docile. Are you not impressed by any of this?" "Not by this," she replied, eyes closing as the stylist began washing her hair. "I've been in this world before." Those words stuck with him. Before he could ask more, an assistant led him to the waiting lounge. Hours later, when they called him back, William prepared himself, but what he saw still took his breath away. Gone was the girl in rags. Before him stood a vision of grace and poise. Silky waves framed her face. Sophisticated makeup highlighted her striking features. A sleek black dress hugged her figure perfectly. But what struck him most was her expression, calm, not amazed, not overwhelmed, as if she had always belonged in that world. "You don't look surprised," he said softly. "Because I'm not," she replied with a knowing smile. "Who are you really?" he asked. She picked up her clutch. "Someone who knows a good opportunity when she sees one." The Rolls-Royce glided silently down the glistening roads, weaving through the veins of the city. Inside, the tension was palpable, though neither of them showed it. William leaned back, adjusting his cufflinks with practiced precision. Beside him, Isabella sat poised, gazing out of the window as if the luxury of it all barely registered. He glanced sideways. "You're unusually quiet." She tilted her head slightly. "I enjoy silence, especially when the world outside never stops talking." "Most people in your position would be nervous," he said, testing her. She smiled faintly. "I'm not most people." That answer, once again, left him unsettled. "You do understand where we're going, don't you?" "Of course. A wedding. Your ex's wedding, to be exact." "And you're not the least bit intimidated?" She turned to face him fully, eyes gleaming with unspoken secrets. "I've stood in rooms full of wolves before, Mr. Lancaster. The trick is simple. Never show fear." Minutes later, the car turned onto a long, tree-lined drive. At its end stood the Harrington estate, a sprawling, centuries-old mansion now ablaze with lights and activity. Limousines and sports cars lined the circular driveway. Flashbulbs popped in rapid bursts as socialites and celebrities posed on the red carpet. William exhaled slowly. "Ready?" he asked, offering his hand. Isabella took it without hesitation. "Always." As she stepped out of the car, a ripple seemed to pass through the crowd. Conversations faltered. Heads turned. Even the most jaded among the elite stared, whispering to one another. Who was this woman on William Lancaster's arm? Crystal chandeliers bathed the room in soft golden light. Waiters in crisp uniforms floated between tables, balancing silver trays of champagne and hors d'oeuvres. At the center of it all stood Olivia Harrington, the picture of elegance, her gown shimmering like starlight, her smile radiant. Beside her, Charles Montrose, polished, proper, but painfully unremarkable. Olivia laughed politely at a guest's comment. Then her gaze drifted toward the entrance, and froze. William Lancaster, walking in with a woman no one could place, a woman so striking, so effortlessly composed, that the room seemed to tilt in her direction. For a split second, Olivia's perfect smile faltered. William guided Isabella through the crowd, heads turning as they passed. "Follow my lead," he whispered. "Smile. Stay poised. And whatever you do, don't let her see you sweat." "Who said I'm the one sweating?" Isabella replied with a small, knowing grin. Soon enough, they approached the center of attention. "Olivia," William greeted coolly. "William." Olivia blinked rapidly, recovering. "What a surprise. I didn't expect to see you here." "Of course I came," he replied evenly. "And I brought company." All eyes shifted to Isabella. "We haven't met," Olivia said, her tone falsely warm. "You are." Before William could speak, Isabella extended her hand with the grace of royalty. "Isabella, a pleasure." Olivia hesitated, but only for a beat, before accepting the handshake. "You look familiar," Olivia remarked, her voice tightening. Isabella's smile deepened. "Do I? I suppose certain circles do overlap." A flicker of uncertainty crossed Olivia's eyes. "Shall we toast?" Charles interjected quickly, lifting his champagne glass. William nodded, but before anyone could move, Isabella spoke softly, her words slicing through the air. "I wish you both happiness. Marriage is a profound commitment. I was engaged once myself." A sharp intake of breath from several nearby guests. Olivia stiffened. "Really?" she asked, masking her surprise. "And what happened?" "It didn't work out," Isabella replied, taking a slow sip of champagne. "Some families prefer to control who is deemed suitable." Another charged silence. Olivia's knuckles whitened around her glass. Moments later, Isabella leaned toward William. "Would you care to dance?" He blinked. "Dance? Yes. Or shall we stand here and watch your ex try to place me?" A low chuckle escaped him. "Let's dance." Soft strains of a waltz filled the ballroom. William led Isabella confidently, but inwardly, his thoughts swirled. "You did that on purpose," he murmured. "Didn't I tell you? I've been in this world before. You're too skilled, too polished. Who are you really?" She looked up at him, eyes sparkling. "Someone you underestimated, and perhaps someone your ex should have never crossed." As the dance ended, a group of prominent businessmen approached. "William Lancaster, I didn't expect to see you tonight." "Neither did I," he replied smoothly, shaking hands. "And who is this charming lady?" Isabella stepped forward with practiced ease. "Isabella, a pleasure." "You look familiar," one of the men remarked. "Perhaps we've met at an event," she replied. "Or perhaps you're just good at remembering faces." They laughed politely. "And what field are you in, Isabella?" "I enjoy observing market trends, especially the rapid shifts in AI investments," she answered smoothly. An impressed silence followed. "Very forward-thinking," one of them said. William watched her, unease growing. She was too perfect, too ready for this world. Suddenly, a tall, imposing figure approached. Damon Blackwood, a kingmaker among investors, and a man who could read people in a glance. "Isabella," he greeted, "you seem quite comfortable here." "Perhaps because I am," she replied with a subtle smile. "And your relationship with Mr. Lancaster?" he asked. She glanced at William playfully. An intriguing partnership. William's patience finally cracked. "If you'll excuse us," he said, taking her arm and leading her away. "What game are you playing?" he demanded. Isabella faced him calmly. "I'm simply keeping up appearances." "You're drawing too much attention. Isn't that what you wanted? To make your ex burn with curiosity? You're not some homeless woman. Who are you really?" "Took you long enough to ask," she said softly. "Then tell me." Her gaze hardened. "Not yet, but soon." Before William could press further, Olivia approached, all false sweetness. "Enjoying yourselves?" "Very much," Isabella replied. "You know, I truly feel we've met before," Olivia said, eyes narrowing. "Perhaps. The world of the wealthy is smaller than it seems." Olivia's smile tightened. "And where did you meet William?" "Some things," Isabella replied coolly, "are more interesting when left a mystery." For the first time, real uncertainty flickered across Olivia's flawless mask. William caught her glance. She was rattled. Exactly what he had hoped for. But deep down, he was starting to wonder who was playing whom. That night, William couldn't sleep. Even after returning to his penthouse, the images kept replaying in his mind. Isabella, the way she had owned the ballroom, the businessmen hanging on her every word, Olivia, visibly shaken, her mask slipping further with every passing minute, and above all, the look in Isabella's eyes. She wasn't just a beautiful stranger. She was dangerous. She had come for a reason, and it had nothing to do with him. Unable to shake the growing unease, William placed a call to his trusted investigator the next morning. "I want everything you can find," he said. "Her name is Isabella. No last name. She appeared out of nowhere, and she's playing a deeper game." "Understood. Give me 48 hours. 2 days later, the call came. "You were right, Lancaster. Isabella isn't who she pretends to be. Tell me everything." "Her real name is Isabella Deo." William's blood turned cold. "Deo, as in Richard Deo." "The same. Former construction mogul. Brought down in a massive corruption scandal several years ago." "And Olivia?" "Was heavily involved behind the scenes. Documents suggest she helped orchestrate the entire thing, then distanced herself once the scandal broke." William gripped the phone so tightly his knuckles whitened. "So Isabella didn't show up by chance?" "No, she's here for revenge." That night, William stormed into Isabella's hotel suite. She opened the door, her expression unreadable. "I know who you are," he said without preamble. "Isabella Deo." A flicker of emotion crossed her face, but she didn't deny it. "So," she asked quietly, "why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me, or would you have tried to stop me? What exactly are you planning?" She walked to the window, voice steady. "I'm going to destroy Olivia Harrington, the way she destroyed my family." She told him everything. How her father, Richard Deo, had trusted Olivia, only to be set up as the fall guy for an elaborate embezzlement scheme. How her mother had fallen ill, unable to cope with the shame. How Isabella had been left with nothing, forced to disappear to survive. And now, William asked softly, "Now I want justice. No, I want her to feel what I felt." Meanwhile, across the city, Olivia was already moving. Panicked by Isabella's appearance, she had begun digging. "I want everything on this woman," she instructed her legal team. "She cannot be allowed to ruin me." In record time, her PR machine kicked into gear. The next morning, headlines screamed across every major outlet. Heiress turned hustler. The fall of Isabella Deo. Story spun a vicious narrative. A fallen heiress, desperate for relevance, now manipulating William Lancaster for personal gain. William read the articles with a growing fury. "She's playing dirty," he muttered. "Good," Isabella said beside him. "That means she's scared." "We need to hit back," William said. "Not just with words, with proof." "I already have it," Isabella replied, her eyes flashing. "I've spent years gathering everything." She opened a slim black folder. Inside, documents, emails, bank records, signatures. A paper trail leading straight to Olivia. "This will bring her down," William said, stunned. "It will," Isabella agreed. "But we need the right moment." That moment came faster than expected. An invitation arrived for a private dinner at the Harrington Club. "Select guests only." "It's a trap," William said immediately. "I know," Isabella replied, "but I have to go." "Then I'm going too," he insisted. "No, I have to do this alone." "Then I'll be close by," William said. "If anything happens, I won't let her touch you." For a moment, something softened in Isabella's gaze. "Thank you," she whispered. The Harrington Club gleamed with old money opulence. Isabella arrived alone, clad in a striking deep emerald gown that made her look both regal and dangerous. William watched from a discreet corner, eyes tracking her every move. The moment Isabella entered the ballroom, the atmosphere shifted. Olivia saw her almost instantly, her smile tightening into something brittle. She approached, champagne glass in hand. "You've been busy," Olivia said with false sweetness. "The media loved your story." "I'm sure you enjoyed feeding them lies," Isabella replied calmly. "You won't win, you know," Olivia whispered. "You're nothing now. No one will believe you." "That's what you think," Isabella said softly. At that moment, William stepped forward, an envelope in hand. "Looks like you didn't read today's papers, Olivia," he said. He handed her the envelope. Olivia opened it, and her face drained of color. Inside, a complete dossier, documents, recordings, irrefutable evidence of her role in the Deo scandal. "This is fake," she gasped. "No, it's very real," Isabella said. "And tomorrow morning, every major outlet will have a copy." The room had gone silent. Guests strained to hear, their curiosity morphing into shock. "You can't do this," Olivia hissed. "Just like you did to me." Isabella asked coldly. "Enough," Olivia snapped, her voice rising. But it was too late. Suddenly, the grand double door swung open. 2 uniformed police officers entered, followed by a stern-faced prosecutor. "Miss Olivia Harrington," one officer called out, "you are under arrest for financial fraud, embezzlement, and market manipulation." A collective gasp swept the room. "This is outrageous," Olivia cried. "I am Olivia Harrington." "And now you're a criminal," Isabella replied calmly. As the officers cuffed Olivia and led her away, the mighty socialite turned back one last time. "This isn't over," she hissed. "For you it is," Isabella said, her voice ablade. Olivia's arrest dominated every headline. Her empire crumbled in hours. Investors fled. Partnerships dissolved. Justice had been served. But for Isabella, the battle wasn't over. "You did it," William said quietly, standing beside her on the balcony of her suite. "We did it," she corrected softly. "What now?" he asked. She looked out over the city, eyes glistening. "Now, I start again, on my own terms." The next morning, William watched the headlines roll in. Olivia Harrington arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scandal. Harrington empire collapses overnight. Heiress brought down by former victim, Isabella Deo. Justice, long overdue, had finally arrived. Later that day, he found Isabella alone on the balcony of her suite. The cool morning breeze swept through her hair. "You did it," he said quietly. She didn't turn. "We did it." "How does it feel?" A long pause. Like I can breathe again, she whispered, for the first time in years. William handed her an envelope. What's this? A business proposal. A company. In your name. Your future. She opened it and read through the papers, eyes widening. William, I don't need charity. It's not charity. It's an investment. In you. I've spent my life fighting alone. You don't have to anymore. Their eyes locked. Slowly she smiled. All right, but only if I run it my way. Wouldn't expect anything less. Deo Consulting was born, a boutique firm specializing in strategic investments and market analysis. Isabella poured herself into the work, hiring a team, building partnerships, reclaiming her place in the world she had once lost. And through it all, William remained by her side, not to control, not to overshadow, simply to support. One evening, after a long day, he appeared at her office with a small box. 3 months of Deo Consulting, he said, handing it to her. Inside, a silver keychain engraved with a single letter I, a little something, for your victories, and the ones yet to come. She smiled, warmth filling her chest. Thank you. Are you still running from me? He asked softly. Her smile faltered. Maybe a little. I'm patient, he said simply, and he meant it. Then one night, William disappeared. No calls, no texts. Unusual. Concerned, Isabella went to his penthouse. She used the emergency key he had once given her. Inside, she found him on the couch, pale, sweating, burning with fever. William, it's just the flu, he rasped. You should be in hospital. I hate needles. You're impossible, she sighed. She spent the entire night caring for him. Cool cloths, tea, sitting by his side, holding his hand. At dawn he stirred. You stayed. Someone had to, she whispered. He reached out, brushing her cheek. I love you, Isabella. Her heart pounded. William, she swallowed. I love you too. Their lips met, slow, unhurried, filled with unspoken promises. Weeks passed. Their bond deepened. Mornings began with coffee on her desk, always with a note. Evenings ended with long walks through the city. Life was finally good. Then came the change. Isabella felt tired, often nauseous, moody in ways she couldn't explain. One morning, she stared at the pregnancy test in her hand. 2 pink lines. Tears blurred her vision. At the clinic, the doctor smiled gently. Congratulations. You're having twins. Her breath caught. Twins. A boy and a girl. That evening, William found her on the sofa, ultrasound images in her trembling hands. Isabella, what's wrong? She looked up, eyes shining. We're going to have 2 babies. For a beat he froze, then laughed aloud, pulling her into a fierce embrace. You've just given me the best news of my life. William, I'm scared. I'm not. We'll do this together. William became the most attentive partner imaginable, talking to the babies, spoiling Isabella, building cribs, reading parenting books. You're going to be an amazing father, she whispered one night. Because I have the most incredible woman by my side, he replied. At their baby shower, surrounded by loved ones, they revealed the big news. 1 boy, 1 girl. William leaned close. We built an empire together, he said softly. Now we'll build a family. She smiled through tears. The best family. From the cold streets to the heights of power. From betrayal to justice. From loneliness to love. Isabella's story reminds us, no matter how broken you feel, no matter how dark the road may seem, you can rise again. Stronger, wiser, free. And sometimes, love finds us when we least expect it. Did you love Isabella and William's story? Rate it 0 to 10 in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, shocking twists, deep emotions, and powerful love, click on the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss it. Subscribe and join us for more unforgettable tales.